Hey, how's it going, everyone? Thank you for joining me on another episode of the Music Reviewer Podcast. My name's Josh, and we will be covering on this episode best and worst tracks of the or best and worst track of the week for July 4th, or the week of July 4th. If you're new to this podcast, welcome. Best and worst track of the week is just me going over the new entries into the Billboard Hot 100, and I will choose one that is the best of the week, and then another track that is the worst of the week. Simple as that. And just to give everyone an update on the podcast, I did take a little bit of a break, but you will receive more content this week. I have some reviews coming up the pipeline, and also all of the previous podcasts are all now remastered. So if the quality was a turnoff for you at the beginning when I was starting, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm barely still learning this, so thanks for your patience on that. But they are all now remastered. It should sound a little bit more clear and less faint. So yeah, let's get into this track of the week. First track is going to be Bang by AJR. And I am going through this with what is the lowest on the new entry. So AJR came in like at 99. Um, this track here, this track wasn't going to win me over to begin with, but yeah. AJR, I'm a little bit surprised they made it into the Billboard Hot 100, only because they're typically a more alternative type of charting band, which there is an alternative charts for Billboard. And I was thinking about covering that, but I think there's like a paywall to get into that, so not worth it. But yeah, I digress on that. The AJR is typically more into they typically are more popular in the alternative scene with this new alternative pop style that is like popular in like Sirius XM with alternative that alternative station. But they're just basically a trio that is very set on making music with a lot of ad libs, samples, with very hooky type choruses. In this song in particular, um, it just uses like these cheap string synths in the chorus, this like deep sub bass in the production. You can definitely feel it, but it's really muddy overall with that bass line, whatever's in there. There's some bad chipmunk samples, and of course ad libs, what they're famous for. Uh, it develops a little bit nicer when there's a bridge, but that immediately just reverts back into this, half-assed chorus. With this refrain about going out with the bang. Yeah, this song is I rated it a C, and it wasn't going to win me over just because HR hasn't really set well with me over the years. Next track is YoungBoy Never Broke Again featuring Lilbaby, One Shot. Um, this week was a little bit more, I guess, centric on hip hop, but I was really not impressed with this. It has like a forced serious tone to it. It heavily relies on this piano sample. That's just over and over again, like an ostinato. It's a little one-dimensional. It has weird vocal ad libs as well that don't really do much, like other contemporary rappers such as Young Thug or even Travis Scott. The song's subject matter is simple and overstayed. It's Now that I know a little bit more about the track, it's for the new Fast and Furious movie. It's supposed to relate to that. Um, the song does very little to interest the listener. It's gets stale very quickly. And also, I cannot distinguish between the Lil Baby and the Young Boy Never Broke Again. Probably because I don't listen to Young Boy Never Broke Again, but yeah, you can't really distinguish between the two in the track. Um, that one was a C as well. Bleed is the next song by Boogie with the Hoodie. This is another hip hop trap artist I'm not too familiar with. I've heard the name thrown around several times. This song, I did actually like it a little bit more than the last track. It has like this dark psych-like mood to it. Um, the piano isn't obnoxiously overused in this particular case. It is a little bit similar where it has like this deep, serious tone that is being forced, but it has like this interesting deep melodic sub bass on certain parts that I think is popular in drill hip hop. Now that I know a little bit more about that particular sound, the song could use a better hook though. There's really nothing too catchy about it. It's not too earwormy, especially if you want a hip hop song to be in the trap genre to chart. Probably need that. It's not terrible though. I gave that one a B. The rapping wasn't too bad either on here. Um, although there are some, you know, weird instances where the it's a little offbeat, but a lot of rappers are doing that nowadays. Um, the next track was the highest charting. I think that one got like in the 30s. Black Braid by Beyonce. This is an obvious uh, track that was released to support the Black Lives Matter movement, also in association with like some, uh, I guess, foundation or some sort of charity. It's a social commentary on what it means to be black in the United States. There's some interesting melodic ideas at times. There's some sampled ad libs and trap beats with a sub bass in there too. It's a skeletal production. I'm not too fond of that style. But yeah, maybe my biggest issue with the track is maybe the chorus isn't as big as I hoped for. There's not that big of a payoff for how long you listen to the song. It has some elements of the band Tune Yards, which I found interesting. Uh, that indie duo. The song maybe overstays its welcome. I felt like it could have been a little bit more concise and to the point. I maybe expected I maybe expected different with Beyonce being out of the game for so long, but it's a pretty standard Beyonce track, and I rate that one a B. So now we're on to the worst track of the week, the moment everyone's been waiting for, and I'll do the best track of the week after that. So we'll end on a positive note. Worst track of the week was My Truck by Breland or Breland. I'm not sure how I pronounce that. It's the first time I've ever heard of this track, but apparently it has been out for some time already. This is an obvious Little Nas X ripoff, obviously of Old Town Road fame, the massive mega hit from 2019 that no one could escape, blending genres of trap and country, which caused controversy due to the fact that it didn't chart on the country charts. And this is basically trying to piggyback on that idea. The trap beat sounds incredibly cheap on this thing. It's probably the most unoriginal thing I've ever heard for that, based on what's presented in this track. Um, it was probably meant to be more on the nose and satirical, but I felt like it could have been executed better to make that point. Um, the vocal chops sometimes shine, but other than that, this is an obvious meme song, only charting because of TikTok. So that's why it's the worst song of the week. There's really not much substance to this. Homogenous and I guess boring. There's a nice slide guitar solo there. The song has actual substance, has humility in it, something you don't see in modern country music a lot. So that's an A on that one by Mr. Parker McCollum. Enjoyed that track, and that concludes Best and Worst Track of the Week. If you stuck around this long, thanks. And tune in more this week. I will have more substance, more content out for you guys. So see you all later. And now we have the best track of the week, which this one threw me for a little bit of a surprise. I wasn't expecting something like this to be the best track of the week, but it is Pretty Heart by Parker McCollum. Parker McCollum being a Texas country artist that has been on the scene for a few years, but obviously with Texas country being as independent as it is, it's hard for those artists to chart and get traction, especially with their disassociation from Nashville at times. So I like this track because it has a tranquil texture. The vocals are nicely executed and clear. There's some melodic ideas thrown in towards the end of the chorus that pander to trends in modern pop music, but I feel like there was still some taste to it. The guitars developed and are varied in the second verse, so it's not just so